Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing. If you're a fan of the show, we hope you'll help support it with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the price of a dangerous drug or alcohol addiction, you can help us to keep demonstrating what rock bottom really looks like. Just visit patreon.com/fistshark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening. He burned bright.
Too bright, one would say.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, I had high hopes. We needed somebody to get the message out for us, someone to represent us. I mean, we wanted someone who could provide a full-throated defense of FistShark.
Full throat. I wanted a man full in the throat to defend FistShark from all sorts of what I would consider scurrilous rumours, like the toxic waste dump or the toxic waste school, both of which are true, but still very, very scurrilous.
And just damaging, right? Like, it undermines our very sense of confidence that, the people in power care about us, right?
Let's be 100% clear here. We won Boston's Best Business in 2003. Any criticism of us directly undermines the company that this city elected, that this city wants in power.
Exactly, right? And so I really thought that Asbestos Fandango was the guy for the job.
I've always been a big proponent of the Dango.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when he's up there in front of the press, he's got them in his hands. He knows what he's doing. Yes, he's brash. He might not use quote-unquote politically correct language. He might wear sunglasses all the time. But he's a cool cat and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. He did once accuse me of trying to suck my own cock, but to be fair, that's exactly what I was trying to do when he walked into my office that time.
He's a straight shooter.
Yes.
Really, is what it comes down to.
Well, literally, after he brought that gun to that UNICEF conference.
Yeah, that was interesting. Fifth Avenue got really, really busy.
Yeah.
Really busy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity. But, that's what the Dango's good for. The Dango's the man when it comes to drawing attention away from another issue.
That is why I call him Dango the Mango, because that is exactly what he is. But as with all good things, as with all true stars, he flew too close to the sun.
He made it about the Dango.
Yeah, it was a bit too much focused on what Asbestos Fandango is all about, and not about the fact that we didn't hurt those children.
Exactly. Yeah, like all of the stories that seemed to be circulating around were around what Asbestos Fandango is doing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a power move to put someone in so publicly.
Someone who's not afraid to suplex a journalist through a table.
Yeah.
Which he did on many occasions, and I applauded every single time. But that was about the business. That's why suplexing journalists is okay. Because that is taking care of business. That is showing what FistShark marketing is all about. That's showing what we're capable of. Okay, he threw a brick through that tour bus window, but again, that made the point that FistShark marketing is here, and yes, Michael Bolton, we are offering you our services.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a pit bull, really. Like, you send him on a target, and he's relentless.
Oh, yeah. And he looks a bit like pop performer Pitbull, which helped.
That's true. And, once he sinks his teeth into somebody, I mean, he's like a Gila monster, right? Like, the jaw locks, and there's just no getting him off.
I've actually seen him bite into the side, into the meaty flank of a Wall Street Journal reporter, lie on the floor, drag him down with him, and just roll around like an alligator with a zebra in the river.
He's got a gift, really.
He is a natural PR man.
If that were the case, I mean, a natural PR man knows where the line is. you don't show up the boss, right?
I guess it's one of these cases of him being too good at the job.
He could have made some other issue, right? It didn't have to be, hey, look at me, look at me.
Look how many backflips I can do.
Yeah.
That was the downfall. Which is ironic because he never fell.
No.
Everyone was a perfect landing. But when you're trying to defend FistShark marketing because our brand of Twizzlers had arsenic in it, which, first of all, the point of him coming out was to tell people that arsenic's coming back in a big way after a fall from fashion. But instead, he did 10 backflips in a row.
And they were great.
Oh, they're beautiful backflips.
But are you selling our position, or are you trying out for the summer games, right?
Exactly. You had two main jobs when you went up there that night. A, defend us about the Twizzler arsenic. B, punch the first journalist you see in the face. Preferably someone from the New York Times, because they've been really after us lately.
To his credit, he got one of those things done.
Above and beyond. I've never seen so many broken noses. But I don't think... Well, clearly it wasn't enough to save him. The senior partners were just not happy about those backflips. I don't even think they like tumbling of any sort.
They believe it demonstrates weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally of the opinion that it has its place, right? But maybe tumbling isn't the best technique for someone is such a foreground operator, right? You want your tumblers working in the background, pulling the strings.
I told Asbestos. First day he started working for us, which was, what was that, about 5 days ago now?
I think his start date's tomorrow.
Huh. You don't say.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I told him when I first saw him, I said, look, you're going to be a great fit here, I'm sure, but there are a number of things the senior partners don't like that you've got to know about. 1, tumblers. 2, the blogging software Tumblr. And 3, tumblers, the ones you drink out of.
They're also not fans of locks.
Oh, they hate locks.
They hate locks.
Are you kidding me? Pad, double, any sort. Not fans. Not fans.
Salmon, too.
The salmon I understand. I see the logic to that because of their whispers. Okay, Conrad, there's no leading up to this, so I'm just going to tell it to you straight. David Lee Roth and David Matthews have formed a band.
Huh. I mean, okay, I could see it. It's kind of interesting. I don't generally associate them as being sort of the same kind of rock music. David Lee Roth, I sort of get the sense that he's the hard screaming, from his Van Halen days, and and then Dave Matthews is not that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure what you'd call Dave Matthews.
Probably the opposite of everything else you said.
Yeah, I don't want to say it lacks energy, although it does.
It's kind of like a skin suit without the skeleton, musically, sonically.
Bland on the whole. So we got a screamer, we got bland. I mean, that's an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. So that was your reaction to the first half of the sentence I gave you. Here is the second half. With David Duchovny.
That's a good gimmick.
Right? At first, you think David Lee Roth, Dave Matthews, this ain't gonna work. Throw in the third David, you suddenly have an interesting axe on your hands.
Or at the very least, a highly marketable grouping of Daves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are 3 of the best Daves you could ever hope to find. You tell people you've got a barbershop quartet coming in, and it's the 3 Daves. People are going to be very excited.
2 things. There's 2 things that you just said there. Actually, it's 2 words. You said them right next to each other. I'm a little confused. We'll take them. We'll take them one at a time. Did you say quartet?
Yeah. They're in a barbershop quartet together, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them. Okay, so who's the 4th?
What?
The fourth in the barbershop quartet.
Oh no. That's the twist. That's what gives this band its little extra flavour. There isn't a 4th. It's the very first ever 3-man barbershop quartet.
So it's like a barbershop triad.
Yeah, but they prefer barbershop quartet because most people have heard of that name.
Okay.
I mean, mostly they'll be marketed as the Three Daves, but they do want it known that they're a barbershop quartet because it'll add that extra little kick.
All right. So are they any good? I mean, I know that Matthews and Roth can sing on some level. Duchovny, I don't know that I've ever heard him sing.
He doesn't so much sing as rumble and mumble unintelligibly into the microphone like he's not really bothered about anything. Very similar to his acting, if I'm quite honest. But would you believe it? It's the glue that holds it together.
No, I can see that. I could see how that would work.
When you take him out the equation, Roth and Matthews sound fucking awful together.
Yeah.
But there's something soothing about his low rumble that just lets Duchovny make this whole thing work. I think without him, it would be the worst musical act in the world.
Well, it's like supplying the bass line, right? Like that's the undercurrent that runs through everything in the song. And without it, yeah, I mean, I could see Matthews and Roth just being sort of tinny and shrill on the ears. But you get that Duchovny and to sort of smooth that out and the underneath with the low rumbling. Yeah. Oh, that actually does sound like a really good group. So, great. What's the plan?
First of all, we've got to get David Arquette off their backs. That's plan numero uno.
What's Arquette's problem? Doesn't he have enough to do?
Well, I mean, he was very interested in forming what he would call the barbershop Arquette with all 4 of them. But the moment they heard that name, they got cold feet and decided to go ahead as a triad, as you say, but marketed still as a quartet, which has only made him even angrier. Even more angrier is the fact that a lot of the press releases still refer to them as a barbershop Arquette, which has not made the Three Daves happy either.
So who's handling the Daves? Like, I mean, we manage them all, don't we?
Yeah, that's the other main issue is we represent Mr. Arquette, but we also have Duchovny, Roth, and Matthews on our books. So we're looking at a clash of Davids here, and I'm more tempted to side with the Three Davids because there's 3 of them, and David Arquette is David Arquette.
Well, yeah, no, he's awkward and weird and not funny. Like, I've never met anybody who is so distinctly and consistently not funny. You look at him and you think, that man should be funny. He's got a funny face.
Well, wouldn't you know it? The tragedy is he once was. He actually was probably the funniest client I've ever had.
Really?
Back before he truly broke into the acting business. But he auditioned for a movie. It was an Adam Sandler movie, and unfortunately, Arquette never left that room the same. Adam Sandler looked younger. David Arquette was a lot less funny.
That's tragic. I wasn't familiar with Arquette's early work, but that's really a shame.
I mean, that's why I don't want to just let him go. I want to try and make the guy happy. I feel sorry for him. But this can't stand. And the Three Daves is just too hot an act for us to surrender. If it's going to come down to one or the other, it's going to come down to the 3.
I agree. But I feel like maybe there's some other musical project that we could get David Arquette involved in. I mean, if he's got the music bug, maybe he'd just be satisfied somewhere else. It doesn't have to be part of the Three Daves.
Has anyone ever tried a one-man Dave?
Just a lone Dave?
Mm-hmm.
A single Dave?
I can't think of any famous Dave that was his own thing.
Yeah, there's just independently a Dave. Mono Dave.
The one Dave.
The one true Dave.
The only Dave.
Is he still hung on Barbershop?
Well, I did send him to audition for Barbershop 3, but he left that in an even worse state than the Adam Sandler one.
How so?
He angered people.
He's a son of a bitch, Jim.
I swear to God, he did this just to screw us.
I'm under no doubt that's what it was. The thing I don't like about Dick is that he is a dick.
Was, I guess.
Well, was, I mean,
was
yeah.
a tremendous dick, yeah.
He is now a retired dick. Was, is, always will be a massive, massive floppy donger.
He waited, he planned, he found the perfect opportunity to where we're just hitting our peak, right?
Oh, we're peaking.
And he knew that the best way he could screw us is to retire now and knock us the hell down a few God knows how many pegs now, because we get to take his anchor of an account.
Oh yeah, and not just that. Not just that. But he retires this morning. We naturally bury him this afternoon, and it's not until the wake that we find out. It's not until the bit that's meant to be fun for us that we get told we're saddled with the El Dorado account. I mean, you can groan, but we've got to face it. We've got to do something about the lost city of El Dorado now. Something that Dick certainly couldn't do in his 50 years in the business, and his predecessor couldn't do before him.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Right?
As to why this wasn't a runaway success all the time.
It's a puzzle.
And it's not like it hasn't been attempted. It's not like valiant effort wasn't applied.
The expense we've gone to. The lost city of El Dorado. The world's greatest, shiniest theme park. And not one single bastard since 1901 has turned the fuck up.
I don't understand. It was supposed to be a tremendous opportunity for us as a business. It's baked in. It was baked in already. People knew what El Dorado was.
Well, the amount of money we've spent on product placement. I mean, El Dorado's been mentioned in movies, in video games, in books, on TV shows. I mean, it's central to the plot of many places. And every single one of those references in pop culture, FistShark has paid for, trying to get people interested in coming to visit El Dorado. We've got gold roller coasters. Alton Towers doesn't have gold roller coasters. Walt fucking Disney doesn't have gold roller coasters. Not good ones, anyway.
No, you only get that at the lost city of El Dorado. Maybe that's part of the... Maybe part of it's in there. I mean, Lost? We have maps, right? Like, we make maps there.
Probably. I mean, I know there are maps of El Dorado, so when you get there, you know where the attractions are.
Okay, yeah, so you won't get lost at El Dorado.
No, you won't get lost in El Dorado at all. Like, maybe that's what it is. His families are worried that they'll be separated from their kids, but that happens, you know, outside of the city of El Dorado. On reflection, I think that's the first thing we need to do when we get out there, is have a word with the staff. Because the last I heard, the greeters, whose job it is supposed to welcome people in, have been killing anybody who goes near the general vicinity of the park with sickle-shaped objects and darts and things. They keep talking about, some sort of ancient order? And I've told them if the order's that fucking ancient, just update the menu. I mean, we've got 3 eateries, so improvise, experiment, do something to bring the customers in. Instead, they're driving them away. Literally. On the backs of animals I've never seen in real life.
I thought the whole point of our deal with the locals was that they were going to serve in a customer service role in the operation and maintenance of the park. So you mean to tell me that people have actually been finding their way there and they're just killing them?
Yeah, I mean, not many people make their way there. I mean, in the last 10 years, about 3 people have. But they tend to end up poisoned and decapitated and actually, no, that's it, poisoned and decapitated. They don't ever go through the turnstile and enjoy an ice cream. We've been sending so much Mr. Whippy over there by plane. And frankly, I just think that the Ancient Order's eating it all.
They're just like lining up on the access road then and just taking out anybody who comes through.
From what I've heard, and again, we're going to have to go out there and sort this out, but from what I heard from Dick complaining in the break room, like he always was, they stand there on the parapets, out in the jungle, on the main road, 2 scoops in hand, just waiting for someone to come along.
Wow.
It's almost like they don't want people to find the lost city of El Dorado. It's almost like we're at cross purposes here. Like, we've employed them to welcome folks in, and instead of doing that, they're doing the opposite, which is murder. Well, I mean, it would be murder if the particular secret island that this is all on had laws, which it doesn't. It just has a strict code of conduct passed down through the generations.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why it was such an attractive location for us.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't want a theme park just in the middle of New York City.
Oh, God, no. I mean, the regulations, the oversight, the standards requirements. Oh, no, thank you.
We certainly wouldn't be able to employ a family of masked murderers with blowpipes and sickle-shaped objects in the middle of New York City.
No.
No.
Would not be allowed.
Well, Trump hired them all already. They're in the tower, looking after his comics.
Really, if you're going to build a family entertainment park, you want in a place with as few laws as possible and no extradition.
And a minimum amount of spirits guarding the sacred realm.
Right.
We've got a couple, but of the islands we picked a fairly decent one. I mean, I wouldn't have tried to open a theme park on Dog Island. Not now. Not now one of them is slowly conquering it with 3 dragons. I don't know where they got them from.
I don't know, maybe we just need to organize a tour group. Get in touch with some travel agencies, set up some cruises.
Just send some families out there.
Yeah, just send a whole bunch of families out there, and maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's just that there's such a slow trickle that they're not, accustomed yet to the idea of what they're supposed to be doing. If we could just send a real just flood of people.
This is a good idea. And I tell you what, it might be for the best that Dick had both of us on this. I tell you what, you go to the Boston Research Center, you go get some focus groups. Let's get some families together. Let's get some critics to come visit. Anyone who reviews leisure activities, out and about stuff, summer stuff, you deal with that. You get the people coming. I'll get on a chartered flight to the secret island and have a word with the greeters and the protective spirits just so that they can prepare one blowout of a welcome for them.
I think we should just make it a full press junket. I can think of a whole lot of people out there that I would love to get on a boat to the lost city of El Dorado. Maybe you wait on your flight. FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chand. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, the most important thing is your satisfaction. Goodbye.